On the morning of May 15, 2026, children walked into school expecting a normal day. Some carried exercise books. Some worried about homework. Others were already thinking about what they would eat when classes ended. Nobody knew that within a few hours, dozens of students and teachers would disappear. Parents would begin searching. Security forces would launch rescue missions. And an entire community would be plunged into fear. This is the story of the Oyo school abduction. The day armed men turned classrooms into crime scenes, and the terrifying mystery that followed. Southwestern Nigeria is not usually the first place people think of when discussing mass school kidnappings. For years, many of the country's major abduction cases happened farther north. But in May 2026, that changed. Nestled within Oriire local government area of Oyo State sat a group of schools serving local families. The schools were more than buildings. They represented hope. Parents worked hard so their children could receive an education. Teachers dedicated their life to helping students build a better future. On most mornings, the roads were peaceful. Children laughed on their way to class. Teachers prepared lessons. Life moved at its usual pace. Then came May 15, and everything changed. Witnesses later described seeing motorcycles, many motorcycles. The sound grew louder. At first, some people may have thought nothing of it. Motorcycles are common throughout rural Nigeria, but these riders were different. They were armed, and they were heading towards schools. The attackers targeted multiple educational institutions in the area. Panic spread quickly. Teachers realized something was terribly wrong. Children began running. Some tried to hide. Others froze in fear. Within moments, the schools became scenes of chaos. The attackers moved rapidly. They appeared organized, and they seemed to know exactly what they wanted. The gunmen gathered students and teachers. Some victims were very young. Reports indicated that children ranging from toddlers to teenagers were among those taken. Families would later struggle to understand how such a large operation could happen so quickly. By the time the attackers left, dozens of people were gone. According to official reports, 39 students and 7 teachers had been abducted. The numbers shocked the nation. For many Nigerians, it felt like a nightmare repeating itself. Another school, another community, another group of frightened children disappearing into uncertainty. News spread fast. Parents rushed toward the schools. Some arrived hoping reports were exaggerated. Others prayed their children had escaped. Instead, they found confusion. Questions filled the air. Who were the attackers? Where had they gone? How could so many people vanish? Fear spread beyond the immediate community. Across Oyo State, families began wondering whether any school was truly safe. For teachers, the attack was devastating. Schools are supposed to be places of learning, not hunting grounds for criminals. Yet that morning, education had been interrupted by violence. Authorities responded. Security agencies launched operations. Police officers gathered intelligence. Soldiers joined the effort. Local vigilantes also became involved. Every hour mattered. The longer the victims remained missing, the harder recovery efforts could become. Investigators began looking for clues. Roads were monitored. Possible escape routes were analyzed. Informants were questioned. The search expanded. But the kidnappers had already gained a head start. Days passed. Families waited. Every phone call created hope. Every rumor created anxiety. Parents struggled to sleep. Teachers worried about their colleagues. Students who escaped carried memories they would never forget. Communities often suffer long after kidnappers leave. The emotional damage can last for years. Children become afraid of school. Parents become afraid of sending them. Entire villages lose confidence in their security. The attack had to become bigger than a single crime. It had become a crisis affecting an entire region. Then came devastating news. Officials reported that one of the abducted teachers had been killed while in captivity. The announcement intensified public anger. The kidnapping was no longer only about missing persons. Now there was a confirmed death. The tragedy underscored the danger facing those still being held. Rescue teams faced enormous pressure. Every decision carried consequences. Every delay increased fear. And families were forced to confront the possibility that not everyone might return home safely. As investigators worked, arrests began to emerge. Authorities announced that several suspects had been detained. Among those arrested were individuals alleged to have assisted the operation, through information gathering and logistical support. Investigators believed kidnappers often rely on local knowledge. Criminal groups rarely operate completely alone. They need information, they need supplies, they need routes, and they sometimes receive assistance from people living within affected communities. The arrests raised new questions. How extensive was the network? Who planned the operation? And could the suspects help locate the victims? The Oyo school kidnapping did not happen in isolation. For years, Nigeria has struggled with mass abductions targeting schools. Hundreds of students have been kidnapped in separate incidents, some across different states. Some were released quickly. Others spent months in captivity. Some families never fully recovered from the trauma. Experts say kidnappings continue because criminal groups view schools as vulnerable targets. The attacks generate publicity, they create fear, and they often place immense pressure on authorities. The Oyo case demonstrated that this threat was no longer confined to one region. It had reached communities that once believed they were relatively safe. Even as investigations continued, major questions remained. Why were these schools chosen? How did the attackers organize such a large operation? Could warning signs have been missed? What changes were needed to protect students in the future? And perhaps the most important question of all, how can communities ensure that children can attend school without fear? These questions extend far beyond Oyo State. They affect every parent, every teacher, and every child hoping for a safer future. The Oyo school abduction serves as a reminder of how quickly ordinary life can be shattered. One morning, one attack, dozens of lives changed forever. For the victims and their families, the story is not just about crime. It is about survival, hope, fear, and the determination to bring loved ones home. Because behind every statistic is a human being, a child with dreams, a teacher with responsibilities, a family waiting for answers. And until every question is answered, the story of the Oyo school abduction remains unfinished.